Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to explore something that is, well, pretty fundamental to all of us: how we learn to be good. It's a journey that starts when we're kids and pretty much never stops, guided by all these powerful stories we hear and tell. I mean, that's one of life's biggest questions, right? Do we learn morality through a set of rules, from our own experiences, or maybe something else entirely? Well, for basically all of human history, we've relied on one incredibly powerful tool to pass down these lessons. Exactly. These narratives, whether they're super simple or really profound, they give us these blueprints for how to act. We get heroes to look up to and cautionary tales to learn from. So let's start with a story that makes this crystal clear. Okay, we're kicking things off with a classic setup: two brothers, Liam and Tyler. And we're going to look at their very, very different ways of moving through the world, especially when it comes to their little sister, Emma. So this slide really boils it all down to their core motivations. For Liam, everything is driven by empathy, this genuine desire to connect with people and to help. Tyler, on the other hand, now, he's not a bad guy, he's not malicious, he's just kind of self-focused. And that distraction leads straight to carelessness. Let's see how that actually plays out. Liam's actions are what you'd call proactive. He doesn't wait to be asked. He sees his sister needs help with her homework, and he just steps in. He shares the last cookie. He actually listens when she's talking. He's actively on the lookout for ways to be kind. And that builds this incredible foundation of trust and love. Tyler's choices? Well, they paint a completely different picture, don't they? He's so absorbed in his video games that he's basically blind to what's happening around him. He ignores her when she asks for help, snags the last cookie for himself, and even forgets her birthday. Again, these aren't mean-spirited acts, but they come from a place of simple, thoughtless self-interest. And the consequence here is super direct. Liam gets celebrated, he gets the first slice of cake. Tyler, meanwhile, ends up feeling lonely, realizing way too late that his own actions have pushed people away. It's a really clear cause-and-effect moral lesson. But what happens when the consequences aren't so obvious? Our next story digs right into that idea. Here, a seemingly tiny, totally harmless action ends up creating these massive ripples in a world that the person has no idea even exists. Oh man, we have all been there. Our fiend didn't finish his lunch and he's worried he'll get a talking to, so he tells this little white lie. It seems like nothing, right? Just a quick comment to avoid a tiny bit of trouble. But in this story, nothing is without a consequence. And this is where things get, well, pretty wild. In a whole other dimension, a little devil named Japu is really sick. His grandmother is trying to brew a magic potion, but she's missing one single crucial ingredient: the sock of a child who has just told a lie. And just as she's searching, she happens to be in our fiend's house. She overhears our fiend's little fib, spots his sock lying on the floor, and poof, she snatches it to finish the cure for her grandson. So think about that. Our fiend's small, private lie had a direct physical impact in a world he knows nothing about. It's this fantastic way of teaching us that our actions, no matter how small they seem, can have effects that stretch way, way beyond what we can see. Okay, so we've gone from simple fables to something more complex, something with more nuance. What happens when our own attempts to be good just end up making us feel like a failure? This next story is all about finding compassion inside a set of rules. So let's meet Mahanor. The holy month of Ramadan has just finished, and there's this highly recommended practice of fasting for 6 more days. The problem is, because of illness and her menstrual cycle, she can't start right away. All this social pressure is making her feel incredibly guilty, like she's already falling short in her faith. And this is the beautiful promise that's motivating her. The text says that if you follow Ramadan with 6 fasts in the next month, Shawwal, you get a reward as if you fasted for an entire lifetime. That's huge. But the misunderstanding comes from that one word, follows. The logic behind this reward is just, it's beautiful. In Islamic theology, it's understood that God rewards every good deed 10 times over. So you take the 30 days of Ramadan, multiply by 10, that's 300 days of reward. Then you add the 6 Shawwal fasts, which get rewarded as 60 days, and boom, you've got 360, a full year. It's not just a rule, it's this amazing, merciful calculation. Now, to really get the flexibility here, you need to know 2 key terms. Qaza are the obligatory fasts you missed and have to make up. Think of them like a debt you owe. Nafil are the optional fasts, like these 6, that you do for extra reward, and that distinction is absolutely crucial. And this just brilliantly shows the flexibility that's built right into the practice. You don't have to fast immediately or all in a row. You can spread them out across the whole month of Shawwal. Even more, scholars actually say it's better to pay back the debt of any required fasts you missed before you do the optional ones. The whole system is designed to be easy, not to be a burden. So the takeaway for Mehnur is that the entire spirit of this rule is about mercy. The fact that she can't fast for reasons God himself created is not a failure on her part. It's part of the system. The whole point is to connect with God, not to feel crushed by some impossible standard. Okay, so we've got a simple fable, a wild fantasy tale, and a deep theological discussion. On the surface, they seem like they're from different planets. But what's the common thread? What ties all of them together when it comes to teaching us how to live a good life? When you really boil them down, three incredibly powerful principles emerge. From the story of the two brothers, we get proactive kindness, the idea of actively seeking out chances to do good. From Arfine's little lie, we learn about mindful consequences, just remembering that our actions always have an impact. And from Menor's story, we get intentional compassion, the wisdom to use rules with both our heart and our head, not just blind logic. So, in the end, all of these stories are really trying to push us toward the same place. They're tools. They're designed to help us develop empathy for other people, mindfulness about our own actions, and compassion for ourselves and everyone around us. In their own unique ways, they're all about helping us connect. So I'll leave you with this question. As you go about the rest of your day, just ask yourself, what story is guiding me right now? Is it big or small, ancient or modern? What's the narrative that's shaping my choices and helping me decide what it really means to be good? It really makes you think, doesn't it? Thanks for watching.